Hi, I'm Diana. This is my first recording. Basically, I'm going to do a sort of update on myself and my progress as far as my condition, which is called body dysmorphic disorder. Um, it is a condition that is essentially characterized by having an excessive preoccupation with a real or not real defect on your body or your face or what have you. I was on Dr. Phil, so some of you may recognize me from that show. About in late October 07. And at that time I was in isolation. I was going through a very, very rough period. I was actually in isolation a total of 3 years at that time. I was around the 2-year mark, and then I didn't get out of isolation until 08. And then I finally gathered the courage to get out. It was a very progressive thing. Beginning of it, of being homebound and away from society. I mean, it was a major shock to my system. Never expected anything like that to happen to me. And then eventually got something that I got used to, but of course, I mean, I was in a state of hopelessness, as well as I had no faith in anything at that particular time. So, I mean, when you have no faith and you're hopeless, I mean, makes for a very bad combination. Essentially, you become suicidal. You know, at that point, you want to escape whatever you're going through or dealing with. And what I was going through and what I was dealing with was beyond bearable at times. I mean, one way I can describe it and help some people make sense of it and be able to like sort of wrap their mind around it is that kind of like when you have a nightmare and you wake up out of the nightmare and you're so happy because it was a nightmare, you know, and you're actually like, oh, everything's fine, everything's okay, you know, like, thank God it was a nightmare. Well, at that time, I was pretty much living a nightmare. And when I would fall asleep, I would be dreaming that I would be normal and having a normal life and amongst society and amongst friends, and would wake up so sad because everything wasn't okay. It was the opposite reality for me at that time. So, of course, I ended up attempting suicide. And I did end up being hospitalized a couple times. And, but throughout the duration of that experience, of course, I was learning a lot about myself. I ended up going through a process of becoming very self-aware, just like realizing all of the things, all of like the little things that a lot of people don't know about themselves until like some sort of experience like this. Like the rug is pulled from beneath you and all of a sudden you have like everything is like unveiled, and you kind of have to really take a good look at who you are, how you arrived here. You know, how did I arrive at this place, you know, not being able to go anywhere, not being able to do anything, not knowing if I'll ever be able to go anywhere, do anything again, have a significant other, and pretty much dead, but still alive. And I did this somehow. Somehow I brought myself here. And what did I do to bring myself here? You know, so you go through that process. And beyond that, you end up doing a lot of soul searching, Because as much as you want to escape and as much as you want to die, you still, yeah, you kind of want to live and you want to survive and make it. Yeah, and you live in limbo for a little while, but in the midst of the soul searching, I tell you what, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about life. I learned a lot about the world, and still a lot to learn. I learned a lot about faith, the true meaning of it that I did not know at the time. You know, and the reality of life, how really life is structured, because I had this notion that everything was predetermined and life was sort of set in stone, and that's just not it. That's not at all the reality. Life is not predetermined. Your reality is based on what you make it. I mean, you create your reality. Reality is not created for you. I mean, unless you let it, unless you give in and let all kinds of external forces take over. I mean, they will, but you do have some level of control over what happens to you. And reality is nothing is set in stone. Reality is actually very flexible and also subject to revision. And as much as I thought that I had painted myself into a corner, I didn't. I realized that that was not true. That the walls that I had put up could be broken down through a lot of faith and through a lot of trust in the fact that everything would be okay, believing it would be okay, and maintaining that intention, maintaining that hope. And I tell you what, hope in your soul can, you can climb mountains. You can get over the most incredible of circumstances with hope and faith. So I guess that's one of the first things I want to bring to light in this first video. And also the fact that I'm not completely done up. I've gotten to that point too, and I just kind of wanted to show that I'm willing to show myself not all done up. In my mind, this is not done up. I mean, to some other people it might be, but for me, this is very, I'm sort of kind of I don't even like my highlights right now either, at all. But I just want to show that I'm willing to just be a little bit more natural than I would have been before, by all means. That's kind of the level of progress that I've made thus far. And so this is my first video, and there will be more pertaining to how much I've progressed, how much I'm continuing to progress, and my road to recovery, and my road to personal freedom and happiness. So hope to see you again. Comments are welcomed. Bye.